फॉल्ट्स को ओवरलुक करने का आरोप है। अब क्वालिटी कंट्रोल में कह रहे हैं कंसर्न्स अबाउट द प्रेशर टू मीट प्रोडक्शन टारगेट्स। ये सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आपके ऊपर एक दबाव बना हुआ है जिसमें आपको कहा जा रहा है कि साहब जल्दी जल्दी एयरक्राफ्ट का प्रोडक्शन करो, हमें टारगेट टाइम मीट करना है डिलीवरी का। मतलब जो हमारे बायर्स हैं, जिन्होंने हमें ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दिया है कि ये एयरक्राफ्ट बना करके हमें दीजिए जिसकी हम सेवा फौरन बहाल करना चाहते हैं, उनका हमारे ऊपर प्रेशर है और उस प्रेशर की वजह से हम क्वालिटी कंट्रोल को ध्यान में नहीं रखे, विच मे हैव कंप्रोमाइज्ड क्वालिटी कंट्रोल मेजर्स। ये जो दबाव था। दूसरा है विसिल ब्लोअर रिटेलिएशन। इसके बारे में मैंने चर्चा किया कि जिन्होंने आवाज उठाई उसी के खिलाफ ये एक्शन हो गया। अब मैं छोटा सा अंश आपको दिखाना चाहता हूं कि ये जो विसिल ब्लोअर हैं सैम सेल्फोर, जो अप्रैल 2024 में सीनेट के सामने अपना टेस्टिमनी दे रहे हैं और साफ साफ कह रहे हैं कि हमने क्वालिटी कंट्रोल, सेफ्टी मेजरमेंट्स और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग लैप्सेस, इस सब के बारे में, स्ट्रक्चरल डिफेक्ट्स, इस सब के बारे में बहुत ही कैटेगरिकली कंपनी के सामने अपना पक्ष रखा था। कंपनी ने हमारी बात को इग्नोर किया, हमारी बात को नहीं सुना और तब मैंने आगाह किया था कि अगर इन सारे लैप्सेस को, स्ट्रक्चरल डिफेक्ट्स को, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग लैप्सेस को, क्वालिटी कंट्रोल के लैप्सेस को अगर आपने एड्रेस नहीं किया तो इस तरह की बहुत ही फैटल एक्सीडेंट is almost inevitable and that cannot be avoided and which ultimately happened in Ahmedabad crash case. अब वो जो सैम सेल्फर ने जो 2024 में भविष्यवाणी की थी, चेतावनी दी थी, वो आखिर में भारत को उसकी कीमत चुकानी पड़ी। आज 265 लोगों को खो करके उनके परिवार के साथ अभी क्या बीत रहा होगा आप उसकी कल्पना नहीं कर सकते हैं, जिस बारे में आपको भारत का टेलीविजन चैनल नहीं बताएगा। कहीं आपने मीडिया रिपोर्ट्स भी नहीं देखी होगी, लेकिन हमारी रिसर्च टीम ने बहुत ही जबरदस्त काम किया है और मैं फिर एक बार बधाई देता हूं अपनी रिसर्च टीम को, खासतौर से अपनी एडिटर पूजा फ्रांसिस को, जिन्होंने बेहतरीन स्टोरी रिसर्च करके ये आपके सामने लाया है। अब मैं सैम सेल्फोर का वो टेस्टिमनी आपके सामने प्रोड्यूस कर रहा हूं, जो आप स्वयं देखें और सुने। अंग्रेजी में टेस्टिमनी है, मैं हिंदी में उसका तर्जुमा कर दूंगा पहले, लेकिन आप उस पूरे टेस्टिमनी को सुनिए।
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for convening this hearing. Thanks to each of the witnesses for being here. Mr. Salapur, let me just start with you. I just want to back up and make sure I understand your testimony because it seems extraordinary to me. And I'm reading the letters that you've submitted from your attorney when you first contacted the FAA, when you contacted the committee. So my understanding is you worked on both the 787 and the 7777, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you identified major safety concerns with both of these lines, shall
Yes,
I say.
sir.
And you identified these to your superiors.
Yes, sir. I have written many memos time after time that we can
ये हटा
provide.
करके
Over a
इसका
period of years,
translation
I'd
in
say.
English।
Yeah, this is like 3 years. For the 787, it's been 3 years of effort.
And so your concerns, who knew about your concerns? How far up the chain do you know that they went?
I have gone as high as Mark Stockton and Lisa Fall, who's the vice president.
The vice president of the company.
Yes.
So they were and are aware of these major safety concerns. And this is what you do for a living. I mean, you're an engineer, right? I mean,
I'm an engineer. I went to quality about 3-4 years ago. And when you put your quality hat, we are the eyes and ears of the public for the safety of the airplane. That's how I feel about our job. And so I have, when I see concerning information or concerning, let's say, production issues, then it is our responsibility to make sure that, if we are causing the airplane to have increased risk factors, our job is to eliminate those risk factors.
Are these planes safe?
Right now, I would not, it's like an earthquake. The big earthquake is coming, but when that hits, the building that, let's say if you're talking of a building, have to be prepared to accommodate that type of a, let's say, shakeup. It has to be built properly. Right now, from what I've seen, the airplanes are not being built per spec and per requirement.
So your testimony is the 787 line and the 777, the 777 line are you think are not.
Well,
not safe.
they are doing stuff that increases the risk factors. Okay, when you increase the risk factors, it's not just one. You are doing stress concentrations. That those stress concentrations, like breaking a paper clip, you do it once or twice, it doesn't break, but it breaks at some time. As the plane gets older, all of these things that you took. You said it's not a safety issue, it becomes a safety issue.
And the company's response to you was to threaten you?
Threaten you, sideline you, transfer you.
You raised concerns about the 787, and so they transferred you to the 777, right?
Well, yes, initially they just cut me off of all the meetings.
Ah.
They took my name out. And then, so I was just doing nothing. I wasn't informed of what. Then they transferred me. And they do it pretty stealthy. Oh, we have a job over here. We want you to go over there. So they move you down there. And, I come from like 40 years of engineering background. So when I see, and I've taken a lot of stress classes, even though I'm not a specialist on that, but when there's a problematic area that you see, you can recognize.
So I just want to make sure I got the sequence right. So you raise these concerns, you get, on the 787, you get transferred over to the 777, you raise the concerns there, they ignore it in both, they haven't addressed any of these concerns, is that your testimony?
Yes, sir.
And at some point, they start to threaten you. You're talking about your boss calling you on your personal phone and berating you, and when did that start?
Well, that started right after when I said, we have made over 300 plus airplanes. We still don't know how to put the load and sell. What I mean by that, if you build in an airplane, build in a house, it's like, putting